Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com. I just wanted to make a video today about basically the number one question I get all the time, which is which boot should I get, this one or this one? And I play this position and I like shooting and durability and all of this stuff. What boot should I get? Which one's best for me? And I usually give a pretty similar answer in that you should probably go read some reviews on my website and then probably make a decision from there. I know a lot of you guys probably are a little bit angry with that response, but so I'm going to explain to you how I think that you should pick a soccer shoe rather than how a lot of people do pick soccer shoes, which is basically by looks and what the pros are wearing. So the very first thing that you should do when you're going to choose a soccer shoe is be very open-minded, and by that I mean all the marketing schemes like power boot, speed boot, heritage, all of that should be completely ignored. You should also ignore which pros are wearing these soccer shoes. Weight should not be a main concern. I know weight is becoming the number one thing as far as a concern on what you need in a soccer shoe. Don't worry about weight. Disregard weight, and you might be surprised on what you come up with. And also disregard what brand it is. It really doesn't matter what brand. I know a lot of people are very Nike and Adidas only, and they've never kind of strayed away. There are other companies that are making very good shoes, if not better shoes than Nike and Adidas. So it's definitely worth keeping an open mind as far as what you're looking for in a soccer shoe. The first main thing that I think you should look at is what upper material you're looking for. By this I mean leather or synthetic. And I always get this, especially with the Adi Zeros, and basically any shoe that's available in leather or synthetic, I always get the question, which one is better? It's tough to say that one is better than the other. They make the same shoe in two different upper materials because leather or synthetic is a preference. One is not better than the other. If one was better, then they would only make, let's say synthetic was better, they would only make synthetic shoes. But that's obviously not the case. So leather and synthetic is basically a preference. So what I have here is a Diadora Americana, which is a kangaroo leather shoe, probably one of the nicest leather shoes on the market, and for a very good price. One of my more favorite shoes that I've worn, and you have to consider leather quality as well. Same with synthetic. This is kangaroo leather, premium leather upper. A lot of leather shoes are using kangaroo leather, such as the Adi Pure, the Legends from Nike, the Mizuno Morelia. There's a bunch of shoes using kangaroo leather upper. Sometimes you may want to avoid lower quality leather, which is what you're seeing in a lot of the Adidas shoes coming out now. The Adi Power and the just announced 11 Pro, which is going to be a Taurus leather, which is basically calfskin, which is not necessarily a bad leather. It's just not as high quality, and it's probably why you see so many durability issues with the Adi Powers. As well, you see the synthetics I have here, which is the Adi Zero My Coach and the Superflies. The reason I have two synthetics is because synthetics are very, very different from company to company. From what I have experienced wearing pretty much every brand of synthetic shoe, I really still think that Nike's still on top as far as synthetics goes. But the new My Coach is not a bad synthetic, but keep in mind these are both very, very different shoes. And this is really where the reviews come in, because you really need to check out the reviews to see if these shoes are going to be for you. Also, I didn't really include it as the CTR 360 Maestri from Nike, which is kind of a hybrid of the two. So that's always something to consider. Let's do a little bit of a switch here. Give me a second. The next thing you should probably consider is stud pattern. That's what I always like to look at as far as when I'm looking at soccer shoes. So basically there's two kinds of stud patterns. There is conical studs, which you see here on this Puma King Finale, which means that the makeup of the stud pattern is predominantly round studs, more traditional styled. And then there is the bladed stud pattern, which you see here on this Laser 4, which is the longer, I guess, strip studs that provide a little more traction. Basically, the difference is blades will always provide more grip, like just pure grip, but they lack the maneuverability and agility that you get from conical studs. What I mean by this is when you plant your foot with a bladed stud, it's very hard to move your foot once you have your weight on it. But you're going to get that grip, that extra grip for a push-off. But on a conical stud, you have a lot more agility to move your foot, which is sometimes better. And this brings me into the other reason why this is very, very important is which surface are you going to be playing on. I know turf is becoming bigger and bigger, especially in the US and Canada, as a surface to be playing on, and a lot of the time bladed stud patterns are not really, it's not that you can't use them on turf, it's just not recommended to be used on turf. One that pops up in my mind right away is the standard CTR 360 sole plate and stud pattern. It has that round kind of circular bladed stud pattern in the middle, and basically when you plant your foot on turf with that shoe, your ankle is literally locked. You have no maneuverability in the ankle at all, which is really dangerous for basically all of your joints, because should you plant your foot and someone kind of bump you or you trip or something, your foot's pretty much stuck. So that's really elevating the risk of injury that you can have since your foot is stuck. So I do usually recommend conical stud patterns if you are going to be playing predominantly on turf or exclusively on turf, because it is a lot safer, and it does tend to perform better on turf. Because turf is very abrasive, so you don't necessarily need the best grip. As long as there's something there, you kind of want to keep your agility over grip, because it's all going to end up being the same. Last thing I think you should consider is the fit. And part of the fit thing is the lacing system. I know a lot of lacing systems are getting a little bit different now. You're seeing more and more lacing systems that are off-centered, which you see here in this Mizuno Wave Ignitus 2. It's kind of off-centered to the side, where this AdiPure 4 here has more of a central lacing system. This is not a huge thing, but it can be pretty big if you have issues with fit in soccer shoes. What I've basically noticed is that generally the central lacing system does work the best if you want the tightest fit, because it gives you a little bit more room in the shoe as far as how tight it has to fit. Because basically you can have a wider fit and you'll be able to still be able to get a nice tight fit with the central lacing system. When the laces are to the side, it really puts a lot of stress on the actual shape of the boot, because if the shape of the boot is not closer to your foot than the central lacing system with the same shape, it's not going to have the same fit, and it might not be as comfortable. I'm not saying that the offset lacing is a bad thing. It's not at all. It's a pretty good idea, I think, but it really depends on the shape of the boot. That's why a lot of people were kind of afraid of the Puma PowerCat 1.10, because it had the laces almost on the side of the boot. They were like almost right here. So it was really odd for people, and it really didn't feel good when the first time you put it on. But after you broke it in, you kind of got used to it, and it wasn't really an issue. So that's the other thing to consider. Last thing, like I said about the weight. Weight should not be your main concern. There's light shoes now. All the soccer shoes as a whole are very light shoes. You're not going to run faster if you have light shoes. And all this marketing of power boots and heritage boots, I get questions all the time. I need a boot that's the best in touch, speed, power, this, that, passing, crossing. Don't you need that from any soccer shoe? It's one of those things where you need it from any soccer shoe, and it's really not. It's more of a skill or an attribute. It's not something that's gained from wearing a soccer shoe. Just know, if you're still watching, just know that soccer shoes are not. You're never put at an advantage in one particular shoe than another shoe. There are better soccer shoes and there are not so good soccer shoes, but you're never at an advantage in comparison to somebody else because you're wearing a particular shoe. Well, there you go, guys. That's how I would personally pick a soccer shoe. And basically, I'll leave a link in the description to my website, soccerreviewsforyou.com. Go check out some of the reviews. They're really good reviews, really detailed, written out. I spent a lot of time on them. Go check them out before you guys go ask questions. And if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section, or go check out my Facebook page. The link's in the description of that. Go like the Facebook page if you're interested. Guys, as always, don't be afraid to comment, rate, subscribe. Don't be afraid to like and favorite the video. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.